Welcome to Chapter 5, problem number 12, the Excel version of this. So as you can see, I've already pre-populated part of the problem. I'll try to make it look like the Excel output that you saw in the Word document. So the sample size is 6. The probability of success, or the probability that somebody has an iPhone, is 0.47. So to calculate the mean, you simply go equals. Take the sample size and you multiply it by the probability of success, 0.82. Now, to calculate the variance, you're going to take the square root, in this particular case, take the square root, and you're going to have the sample size, which is 6, times the probability of success, which is 0.47. You go then, you need to multiply that by 1 minus probability of success, and you get the variance. Sorry, you get the standard deviation. If I don't take the square root, I'm going to back up a second, give you the variance, and you're going to take the square root, and I'm going to show you a slightly different way of doing this. You can take the square root, or you can take it to the exponent 0.5, and you'll wind up with the same number. So whichever you prefer. So 1.22. I'm going to show you a new function called binomial distribution. I'm also going to show you a slightly different way of accessing it than what I've been showing in some of the other videos. You may like this better. So you're going to go to the FX button, the insert function button. Now, I've already pre-selected statistical, and I want to scroll down, and you can type in, but I want to scroll down to, in this case, binom.dist. One of the things I personally like about this is it gives you this input palette. So in this particular case, it gives you some suggestions. You see, number underscore S is the number of successes in the trials. So in this particular case, that's actually the number over here, which is 0. The trial size, or the trial, is there's 6, which isn't going to change. So we're going to make that this number. The probability is 0.47. You can also type in the cells. You don't have to do it this way. That's also going to stay the same. And then there's a function in this, which you're going to see in binomial. You're going to see in Poisson under cumulative. If you put in false, which is the default, then it will give you that value and that value only. So in this case, what is the probability? It's 0. If you put in true, it'll give you the probability from 0, or for the starting point, wherever that is, up to and including that value, which we'll show you how to do in an upcoming video for a different problem. So in this particular case, we're going to put false. Like I said, the default is false. And you go, okay. Now I can simply copy this down because I've made the absolute references and I get my calculations. So to answer part A, probability of it's 4 and exactly 4 is, as you saw in the Word document, 0.205, etc. The probability that the answer is exactly 6 is here. So I'm also going to go back, and here's A, here's B, whichever way. You don't have to create this at the bottom. Probability is of C, so you'd want to sum 4 through 6 inclusive, and you get 0.2893, etc. Now, in part D, we already have part D. In part D of this particular problem, it says what is the mean and standard deviation. So the mean is given up here. We've already done, so this is the first part of part D, and it wants a standard deviation. So that's the second part of part D. And the assumption in E, as you saw in the Word version of this, is that each American adult owns an iPhone or does not own an iPhone. And you sample 6 people and you get this probability distribution, which is called a binomial probability distribution, because there's either right or wrong, success or failure. Person either owns an iPhone or does not. Even if they don't own any smartphone slash cell phone, it doesn't matter. Do you own an iPhone? Yes or no? So that makes it binomial. You can own multiple iPhones. So hopefully, once again, you found creating of this rather helpful, and you're going to be doing things like this in industry, creating the spreadsheets and analyzing the data.